beautiful people out there in YouTube world. Going on, long time no hear. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season. Well, you know, you just hang out long enough and the stuff comes to you. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I'm going to go over this. For you guys that are following my theories on gravity equations and how the pyramids tie into volcanoes, you're not going to believe this one. This is just like so far out. I just have a hard time even understanding it myself. And all right, we'll just jump right into it. I'm burning up the clock here. The Three Gorges Dam in China. Okay, there's a little outline of the land there and the river, the Yangtze River. How the world's largest dam in China has caused a super volcano to come into existence under the following U.S. states of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont. We're talking about magma right under my feet as I'm speaking to you right now, okay? All right, okay, so these mega engineering projects that exceed tens of millions of tons knock the planet's gravity equilibrium out of balance. Gravity has a self-balancing mechanism. Anybody who's watched my videos, I keep pounding that, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You do something here, you're gonna, the other side of the planet's gonna have a reaction to it, okay? Let's see, the Three Gorge Dam in China is located 180 degrees to the above mentioned state located on the same approximate latitude. Right here, the Three Gorge Dam in China is located 180 degrees away from where I am standing recording this video right now. Okay. My gravity theory and equations have more physical evidence than relativity, grand unified field, and quantum mechanics theory, and throw in the strings theory too. But anyways, here's the equation that goes along with my theory. And anybody that's interested, check out my other videos. That dials it in a lot closer and a lot tighter than what I'm going to get into right now. So here's the beast. Okay. This thing is enormous. It's absolutely enormous, okay? A straight crested concrete gravity structure. The Three Gorges Dam is 2,335 meters or 7,660 feet long. It's like a mile and a half, okay? Let's see, maximum height 607 feet. It incorporates 28 million cubic meters. 37 million cubic yards of concrete, and then to add insult to injury, we got 463,000 metric tons of steel into the design. This thing's off the charts as far as weight. Okay, like the pyramids, all three pyramids on the Giza Plateau, they're probably weighing in at maybe, I don't know, 6 million for GP1, 6 million ton for GP1. Well, we'll go GP2, 6 million tons, so we're 12 million ton, and then 3 million for GP3 there, Menker. And we're talking, you're talking like 12, 3, 15 million tons. Okay, this thing's, I can't even count that high. I mean, it's like, just this alone, all right, 15, so you get 2.5 times the weight, just the concrete weight of what the pyramids on the Giza Plateau weigh, and then you're throwing in another, metric tons of steel here. That's every ton of steel is on average 2,000 pounds. I mean, it's just well, it's saying it right there, metric tons. So, anyways, long story short, we're talking millions and millions, tens of millions, maybe tipping the scale at 100 million or so tons that they just erected in 20 some odd years. Okay, now it's going to have a direct effect to where I sleep. Okay, this is going to be a problem. Maybe I could turn this thing a little bit over towards you. Anyways, here's where I'm located right here. I live on the Appalachian Trail. Okay, right in here. This is Boston, New York City. I'm about 3 hours away 3.5 hours away from getting a decent meal down in Manhattan. But anyways, this whole area has been observed to have magma activity under it. Relatively new magma activity. Tens of miles below my feet, magma plume is rising, okay? And it's going to be rising fast because it only took 20 years for that dam, I damn thee, to come into existence over there. And we're talking like, say we're talking like, 60 million tons. And then you add in the water weight. Okay, I mean, you're talking like hundreds of millions of tons here that are in directly alignment, as I'll get into the video, with where I'm living. Okay, we're gonna have a problem here. So this is the monster here. It's 1.5 miles. Okay, going that way. This is the spillway here. I used to work in a hydroelectric dam, so I'm pretty familiar with the operations of dams and spillways and all that stuff. So nothing to this, obviously this is just off the charts, but you're dumping tens of millions of tons of weight in water a day. All this activity has gravitational ramifications. You're manipulating the gravity field over there, and thus you're manipulating the gravity field under my feet, 180 degrees away on the same approximate latitude. A couple of big pictures here. I'll just get into just concrete and steel as far as the eye can see. I think it's one of the biggest, if it still reigns as the biggest, dam on the planet. I think they're building something, I just found out today, they're building something on the Columbia River that's supposed to be equal or a little bit bigger than this one. But here's your 1.5 miles going across the Yangtze River. Three Gorges feed this. And this is a 2009 photo. And there's a 2019. Now you can see there's a little bit of movement here. Okay. Now what these people fail to take into consideration is when you put something like this down on the ground that's massive, it's a gravitational field pulling onto itself. So in essence, it's pulling magma plume up to underneath this thing because it's so huge. Okay, it's so massive, and it is heating the water. They reject this. They say this is a Google map failure. It's possible, but I'm just putting it up there just as some kind of evidence here. Here's the pyramids. Like I said, about 15 million tons combined, all three pyramids. Now these three pyramids keep the Hawaiian hotspot open. All right, that's a fact, Jack. It's 180 degrees opposed to the Hawaiian hotspot. Keeps that thing open. There isn't a decent explanation of why and how this stays, how the Hawaiian hotspot stays open 24/7, 365, except for my theory. All right, so we are like really in the midst of some big problems, like these mega construction projects. I mean, this is like Atlantis all over again. They're just getting beyond the understanding of what is going on. They're screwing with the divine design of the planet set down by the people that built these pyramids to control the tectonic plates and magma currents and everything else, So it's really starting to get under my skin. The magma is starting to get under my feet. Okay. All right, this is a basic, geometry of known pyramids and known volcanoes. They line up 180 degrees away from each other. This is the Giza Plateau pyramids. 180 degrees away, they lines up the Hawaiian hotspot. Sun pyramids, this is off, but I mean, it actually 180 degrees away. You got Mount Sajiri in Sri Lanka, and then Shen pyramids in China, pretty close. The what do you call it? The Three Gorge Dam is a few 1,000 miles north of it. But anyways, long story short, that ties into the two super calderas that make up the Bermuda Island. Okay, here's a straight on, gives you what I'm talking about here. This is Three Gorges Dam. We're just on that other shot there. There's the Three Gorges Dam. There's the Yangtze River right here. And this is Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire right here on the eastern seaboard. About 100 miles in off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Obviously, that's a straight line, right? I'm talking straight. That's like bam, bam. That's you know, a general vicinity, and the actual latitude is incredibly accurate here. I mean, it's beyond everything. So that's why, you know, if something comes into my world that falls on my lap that aligns with my gravitational theory, you're going to hear about it. This is what you're getting. So, you know, it's just common sense. You do something on this side of the planet, that side of the planet's going to have an issue. And what it does is it lowers the gravitational field because it wants to balance out this big, giant, you know, 200 million, you know, monster cube of concrete that they just tossed in over here. Now we're talking about the lay of the land has been the same for millions of years. Okay, we've gone through 10 successful ice ages with 13,000 year interglacial periods with very little distortion of the land. You know, yeah, it sinks, it goes up, it goes down, but you're not shifting 100 million tons of mass from one place to another in 20 years, you know, or less. So in essence, when you do something over here, you lower the gravitational field over here. It's like throughout the universe. Everything that's spherical and hot and it reaches a large enough mass, it's spherical. It's just gravity has a self-balancing mechanism to it. You see it with the high tides and low tides of the moon, right? You got a moonless high tide and you have a moon high tide. 180 degrees away from the moon that has a high tide is a part of the planet that's having a moonless high tide. This stuff, it's elementary. It's just beyond everything. I'm even having to talk about it. But obviously, humans have got a problem, you know. So there's some deformation trends here because of this massive, you know, the immediate vicinity of, you know, the dam itself, Three Gorges Dam. You have a bunch of you know, failures, deformation of the land. You know, the people over there tell you they're sleeping in these houses that have been there for thousands of years, or 1,000 years, and the walls are cracking in the nighttime. They can't even get any sleep, and things are just moving over there. It shows you the mass here, 1987, 2006. This, you know, this is, you know, we're talking. You're tipping the scales at half a billion in mass and weight in tons, 500 million in tons, with all this water and then this ridiculous dam that they put up. Very risky, very dangerous engineering, completely ridiculous. Well, you can't blame it because they just don't know that they don't know. You know, it's not. You know, it's a beautiful engineering project, but 20,000 megawatts, I don't know. You know, to get 20,000 megawatts, you spend $20 billion, $30 billion. It just doesn't make any sense, you know. I get the idea, clean energy and all this other stuff, but if you're creating a super caldera under my feet and it launches, where's the CO savings? You know what I mean? CO2 savings. More pictures here. Go online. There's hundreds of videos. Check this. This thing is just enormous. Everybody probably knows about this anyway, unless you've been living under a rock. you probably heard about this thing. Anyways, a little idea of, you know, what makes up the planet, right? Ocean, crust, upper mantle, lower mantle. You know, you got the water barrier transition there. This is kind of like a nice graphic of what's going on under my feet right now. We're currently 20, 30 miles below my feet and rising because this thing was built very quickly. So this stuff still has a lower gravitational field, and it's creating a magma current that's just burning its way right to the top of the soil, basically where I'm standing. Again, here's the Hawaiian hotspot due to the pyramids and the Giza Plateau that lock in the current and keeps this thing going for hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of years. We go in there, we rebuild them when we grasp the technology again, which doesn't seem to be happening overnight. They realize that, hey, we've got to keep these things open. This keeps Pacific Plate quiet, and then they rebuild the pyramids, and then we cruise on to the the next 100,000 years. Okay. Anyways, this is what's going on here, and here's tectonic plates that we're screwing with currently. We're punching a hole in the tectonic plate right here from where the hell are we? This is like really confused. But anyways, yeah, it's over here. Actually, it's over here. It's the Eurasian plate. The Yangtze River right over here, and it's right there. We're blasting a hole through the plate right here. Okay, it's not. I mean, the plate itself is pretty big, so you're punching a hole. It's right in the middle of it. I mean, you already have like a super caldera that's just sitting there, just minding its own business, Yellowstone. But you're getting into major problems. The other thing you're screwing with is the magnetic field on the planet. You start changing and putting in, indirectly putting in other currents, other convection currents in the magma plume, in the mantle of the Earth, you're affecting the magnetic field. Like I said, this place has been, this whole planet's been cut by, it was just like a jeweler cuts a diamond. This whole planet has been shaped and carved into a beautiful piece of working machinery. And we don't need these, these mega construction projects screwing everything up, because there's not going to be anybody here to buy the plastic stuff coming in from China. You know what I mean? Nobody's here. What's the sense, right? Or if the whole thing goes into a nuclear winter. So, I mean, these are all digital tectonic plate activities on Earth. Tectotism, volcanism of the last 1 million years, little dots here and there. Just give you an idea. I'm sure you guys are all savvy, aware of all this stuff. This is what makes up New England. I'm in a metamorphic area over here in the green. Everything was fine until they decided to put that mega hydro plant in. Now you're getting a heat signature, a giant heat plume underneath this whole area here. No, there was no volcanic activity to speak of. This is just New England. We're talking like 3 states are just all red. I mean, it's just enormous what they're doing. It's just Triassic, Jurassic, Rift Basin, and with the dots down in here. We're talking about some old material here. This isn't like getting blasted out with volcanic stuff every interglacial period. This is very unusual to have a giant plume just show up yesterday. Okay, so here's my websites. Here's Patreon.com if you want to throw some dough my way so I can scream and yell off a larger and more soapbox that I have right now. I do think that these people need to be called into question. They need to be reprimanded. Tests need to be done. They need to shut down that dam. I'm just putting it out there. They need to shut the dam. Damn that dam. I damned that dam. They need to shut the dam down and lower the water basin. They're at 500, 600 feet. That dam is over the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's like 560 or 590 feet high, and they're bringing the water level up that high. So, and then they have the locks to bring the big ships up and everything. Constantly screwing around with these massive gravitational fields that they're manipulating over there, with the amount of weight that they're transferring and over and over again. Glad to be back. Got a few things. Still working on the car generator stuff. I got that. I got to punch that out. Been busy doing some engineering work on the side. So I guess they're not paying good enough just to put out videos. So I have to go out and make some money some other way. And let's see. So yeah, hey, hit me up with some questions. Leave some comments. It's your planet. These people, they think they can just keep building these giant, bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like this tit for tat. Now the U.S. wants to beat them out on their one. You know, we're going to cause a hot spot over there, somewhere over in the Himalayas, and you know, eventually it's going to go back and forth until the whole thing just blows up. You know, we're on a planet. It's a soup sandwich. It's like it's an egg. You know what I mean? You got a thin skin for an egg for the outer cover, and then it's just liquid inside. So you keep screwing with it, it's going to pop and break. You know. All right. Hope I made some sense. I'm going to pound this. I'm going to pound some more videos out on this and dial in a little.